But anyways, welcome everybody to our October meeting. This is a photo critique meeting. We'll do our photo challenge. Tom Wilson is here. He's going to be our guest judge tonight. We've got 12 images for the challenge, and the theme tonight is Georgia only, which basically meant that the picture had to be taken in Georgia. It could be anything you want as long as it was taken in Georgia. So we're going to go ahead and get started. We have some club business first, and then we're going to talk about trips. We're going to talk about the upcoming club elections. Let me just bring up the slide. So we're going to talk about the North Georgia shootout, and we might have a couple of slides from that from Joe. We'll find out in a minute. We're going to talk about election of club officers. We're going to talk quick about dues for next year. We'll talk about our field trips. We'll do our photo review. So first, I'm going to talk about the election of club officers. We do that in November. Our November meeting is actually going to be on Zoom only. I guess the guest judge isn't able to make it to the meeting. All I know is Travis told me that it's going to be on Zoom only. So we'll send an email out before the start of the November meeting so that you can vote for the officers. We'll have 3 officers: CEO, CFO, and secretary, which is also basically president, secretary, and treasurer. Right now, that's going to be Travis, Dick Snoke, and Danielle. But if anybody else is interested in running, we can nominate you. Let me know. And let Travis know, actually. But we do actually have to have a quorum of votes just for legality purposes to do this election. Dues-wise, we're going to start collecting dues for next year. Usually we do that in November, but if somebody wants to renew now, we'll let that go towards next year. So you'll get November, December for free, and it'll go towards next year. And we have one person here tonight who's going to pay dues. So he's paid for this year, the last 2 months, and next year. 2 people? All right. So it's already starting. So we'll post the link on the Facebook page. But if you look at the email for tonight's meeting, the link is always there. And all you have to do is go to northgeorgiaphotographyclub.com, click on membership, and that takes you to the page where you can pay your dues. At some point, we'll get the website updated, but that part is active and correct. So just go to that page. So Joe wants to talk about the shootout, and we were trying to load his little presentation onto the computer. He emailed it to me right before I went online. So we're going to see if I have it. Hang on just a second. There we go. All right.
Okay. I'll just push this aside a little bit.
Yeah.
I had about 10 slides to talk about, just more to communicate information, but some of it is visual, so I'll just talk about some of the highlights. I want to talk about the schedule a little bit for those who are participating. It's at 189 Church Street at the First Presbyterian Church in Marietta, Georgia. And you need to be there at 7:30 so I can brief everybody, the individuals. And right now we have 15 people signed up. You can still sign up, but you're going to have to send me an email within the next week, I think. And if I don't hear from you, then the registrations are closed. Right now we have 15 people signed up. So it will start at 7:30. And basically there'll be some opening ceremonies and announcement of the themes at 8 o'clock. And then we have until 11 o'clock to go out and photograph to those themes. And ask you to be back in the meeting room by 11 so that you can start editing. And we only really are going to allow about an hour and a half to edit. And then at 12:30, they'll be going to the judges to choose the ones that we want to submit. And there'll be some techniques to pass off the images. We'll be using USB cards to pass off the images. But I'm not probably some of the key rules is that you got to meet a naming convention, and I'm not going to go into it because I can't. It almost needs to be visual, and but it has to be shot in sRGB color space, and the images that we submit need to be the long side 2400 pixels, and they have to be saved in JPEG, and that's .jpg, not .jepg, which Apple does sometimes.
JPEG.
What did I say?
Doesn't matter.
Okay, I didn't say that.
JPG.
Okay, you're right, JPEG. And the images has to be shot on that day and that morning. And they also have to be shot within Cobb County. Now, Cobb County is pretty big, but you got to remember that you only have about 3 hours to shoot images. So you got to remember, the further away you go, further you got to get back, fight traffic, etc. So, because you got to be back by 11 o'clock. So, what I'll do is I've got a slide here, a naming convention. I'm not going to show it because, like I said, it's visual. It's kind of complicated. And a list of rosters and a list of tips and hints. The main thing I would recommend is that when you come, be sure and bring snacks. If you have a power strip, bring a power strip. We'll be assigned a particular route. And there are very limited power outlets. So we'll have to bring a few power strips and extension cords. And I'd recommend also that for each individual, I'll assign 2 themes. And you should concentrate on those 2 themes, but think of the other 3 themes as an opportunity. If you see something along, for example, if you're supposed to shoot wheels and water for your main 2 themes, but if you see a great shot of a 3rd theme, maybe a hiker, then shoot that. But concentrate on the first 2 themes. And it should be a good afternoon. We've got 15 people signed up, and I will set up a Zoom meeting the week before the meeting. So it'd be the week of, I'm not sure of the day yet, the week of October 24th to November 1. And
we get back from our fall color strips.
yeah, you'll be in the fall color strip, get back on Sunday, I think.
Yeah.
So I'll probably set it up on Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that. And as I said, you still can sign up. If you want to sign up, you should contact me so that I can add your name to the registration and you'll be registered. Otherwise, the registrations will be closed within about 1 week. So that's all I got without the slides.
Suggestion, look at your camera, make sure that your date and time are accurate on your camera.
Yeah,
Do we have a change coming in time?
I think
No.
on Sunday, I think the next day.
it's the next day.
It's the day after,
Yeah.
Yes,
after the event.
yes,
Good, so I don't have to worry about that.
that's right.
That has screwed us up in the past.
You're good, huh, right
Check
now.
check that in your cameras, make sure your date and time are accurate.
Yeah, where are we gonna edit these? Do we bring our own laptops to edit on?
It's easy to manage if you use Lightroom. You can just set that up as an export condition to JPEG file, RPG color, and you'll be fine.
And we'll help everybody get it set up. Last year, we had a whiteboard in the room. And we wrote the naming convention on the whiteboard and the instructions. I don't know if there's whiteboards here, but we'll, even if it's on a piece of notebook paper, we'll write it out and pass it around.
There's not, in most cases, there's not a whiteboard or a chalkboard. But what I'll do is I'll hand out a piece of paper to each individual, each that's registered with their name, their group, their themes, and the naming convention and some tips and tricks and rules, et cetera. So each individual will have their own sheet that, yeah.
How do you get it from the card on a camera to the
Here,
computer?
we'll have
I don't
US,
laptop.
we'll have USBs. Well,
Somebody has a laptop that can.
No, you're
Yeah.
gonna need to have a laptop.
you're gonna have to have a you're gonna have to download it off your camera, yeah.
I mean, you gotta be able to do your edits after you shoot them. and
So
then-
each person does all the edit themselves or?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Not like
It's your photo. And then from their laptop, you're gonna put it on a flash drive and hand it to Joe or whoever's collecting, yeah.
Is there a Wi-Fi connection there?
yes, there is. It's-
Okay.
There should be. You don't count on
And
it.
when you arrive, we'll tell you what the Wi-Fi code is and the password.
That's another good point. In advance of the event, make sure on your laptop that you log into whatever app you're using, especially if it's a monthly subscription app like Lightroom, Photoshop. Log into it at home so that the system remembers that you're a legitimate paid member, that you have a legitimate subscription. Because if they don't have Wi-Fi that day, or if it's down or something, and you go into Lightroom and it says you need to sign in, you're screwed. So make sure you sign in at least once fairly soon before the event. That's all I
Okay.
can think of.
Okay. Well, I'll set up a Zoom meeting for all the participants. And we'll go into detail.
One question. And Danielle has a whiteboard. She says she can donate to the club if needed.
No, I don't think we need one.
Joe says we probably don't need it, but thank you. All right, let's see, none of that.
November first.
November 1st.
Yeah, Saturday.
Mhm.
Right also.
All right. And next up, Rick Olson on field trips.
You'll have to try it next year. It's a lot of fun.
Okay, not a whole lot to talk about on field trips. I did want to take just a moment though to. I don't know, I guess because I'm getting old. I'm 69 years old now and I keep seeing famous people drop dead. Like every week, it seems like another great musician or an actor,
It happened
actress.
tonight.
Did it? Who?
Ace Frehley.
Ace Frehley?
Yes, yeah,
Oh, no
I
kidding.
heard it actually as I was pulling in.
Which gets me, thoughtful. Over the years, the more I regret all the people that I've lost over the years. So, maybe being a field trip leader wasn't the best idea. I don't know. But we'll get into field trips here a little bit. That's not a picture of me, by the way. I think everyone knows that's Santa Claus. What do we got here? So coming up really soon, our 4-day trip to Tennessee, which Travis and Jason Blaylock will be leading. And they've been really quiet about what exactly are we doing, what's the plan. By the way, we have 26 people signed up for this at this point. We've had a couple drop out. I did not open it up again, but I did invite people if they wanted to join to email me and I would add them, and haven't had any takers. So that's fine. 26 is a pretty big group. That's from both clubs, CPS and North Georgia. And a lot of us are bringing spouses, so it's actually bigger than that. So we got a lot of folks that are going up there for the trip. Travis and Jason both, because people have been asking me, what's the plan? And they know that I typically put a lot of info out there early. They're not doing that on purpose. They're holding back because they want to be able to shift on the fly based on weather and based on what they see in terms of where the colors are, where the colors aren't, where the critters are, because we may have some opportunity in Cades Cove, for instance, to photograph some big animals. So it's going to be crowded. It's going to be very busy weekend up there, but that's coming up very soon. That's our next field trip. And then after that, the only other field trip for the calendar year that affects this club anyway is Oak Car City. I can tell you that I've got 20 people signed up for that already. Registration's still open for that. If you're interested, you can still sign up for it. The email went out about 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago. But if you, Okay, you wouldn't have gotten them. Before we part, give me your email address and I'll send you the link. Tonight, if you're interested, that's November 15th. Okay, well, so the plan,
Talk.
the plan on the Old Car City trip is because it is 8 minutes away from the Savoy. If we get rainy, crappy weather at Old Car City, too much so to endure, then we can just shift and go to Savoy and do that instead. Either way, we got Old Cars. And either way, we've got a pretty good lunch nearby, right? Because Old Car City, you got that restaurant across the street. And then Savoy has its own restaurant, which is not half bad.
So
So
we'll take over the entire restaurant.
what's that?
So with 20 of us, we'll take over the entire restaurant.
Yeah,
across the
we
street.
would wipe it out. I wanted to mention a couple of other things real quickly before I give it back to Mike. I'd solicited responses from everybody. My plan is to do field trips for one more year. So 2026, I'll be the field trip coordinator again for both clubs. And what I wanted to do was solicit input from folks on what they want to do. And I sent that out a couple weeks ago and I've got almost 30 replies so far, which is good, but I'd like more. More of you could respond, Mike, for instance, to that request. But I want to know what people want to do so I can literally quantify the desires and try to schedule the ones that you do want to do. And I can tell you from what I've gotten so far, for instance, things that are very popular requests, spring flowers somewhere, location TBD, but there's a lot of options there. North Georgia or Tennessee waterfalls, there might be an overnight with it if we do Tennessee, and we'll play with that. I kind of want to do Tennessee because we've done a lot of North Georgia. That was very popular. Gibbs Gardens, which is great. I always have an annual membership, so I love going there.
Yeah, but they won't let us come in early or late.
No, they won't. No, they won't. But if you get their ad opening, typically you got plenty of time to
My parking space.
get a parking space and get some photos without people in them. And then grist mills and covered bridges, Joe, you're gonna have to do that again. I'm sorry. But that's one of the top 5. And then surprised me, Botanical Gardens was the other of the top 5 that I've gotten so far. And the way I said that was either Atlanta, Gainesville, or other. Atlanta's expensive, and for North Georgia people, it's a haul. Gainesville, I haven't been to yet. I understand it's pretty cool. Maybe we try Gainesville, but we'll work through that.
And there's Athens also, one and a half. I haven't been to one and a half.
I'm not either. Well, that might be something to consider.
One thing.
We did a workshop in Athens once.
Athens wants me to put on a workshop for impressionistic photography. So, and go ICM. And poses stuff and events and that sort of stuff.
And zoom spinning and all that kind of,
Yeah.
that'd be part of ICM, I guess. Yeah, it's kind of ICM. And then I did ask for feedback too on, okay, what else do you want to do? So what I did was I listed all the ones that we've done in the past 3 years, and that's what these were from. These were things we've done within the past 3 years that people want to do again. Then I said, there are 3 that for sure we're going to have, and I listed what those are. And, there's always a waterfall trip. There's always a trip for birding, which this year I think we're going to do in South Carolina. Joe and I will work on what that plan will be. And then there was a third one that there will always be an astral, probably in the summer, right? An astral shoot. So those 3 for sure are going to be on there. Then we'll select from what people have chosen. And then I asked for new ideas, and I got a lot of good new ideas from people. So I'm going to sift through those. And once I've got that in some kind of organized pattern, I'll probably send a secondary request out to say, let's look through these new ideas and see how many people are interested in each of these, and I'll filter that down. So my plan is, for my last year doing this, I really want to have the best list possible of things that people want to do for a field trip, and we'll try to get as much involvement as we can. Okay? So that's my piece, Mike.
Will probably be a train chase also.
Just in talking about you mentioned the Tennessee Falls, there's some great ones in the South Cumberland recreation area, like the Savage Gulf area and Foster Falls, the Fiery Gizzard area. Reeder Falls up near the stone door. There's a beautiful waterfall.
Yeah, well, I know there are, and I've got a book of them.
Yeah.
And it's something I haven't done yet, I'd like to do.
If you have any questions, I've been to all those that I just mentioned, I'll be glad to give you what information I have. You know, like what the hike into it is like and that sort.
Oh, Rick, you got a question?
Yeah, how about the Sand Hill Cranes? Are we gonna do that?
So, yeah, the Sand Hill Cranes is on the list. There were a number of responses to it. I think we had about 13 people say they want to do that. That's not one of the top 5, but that doesn't mean we won't do it. And again, I don't have all the responses yet. I've only heard back from 29 people. So that may move up in the ranks, I guess, if more people, sign in.
in Alabama.
And want to, that's what we're talking about, Wheeler Park. So we still may do that. And frankly, if UMIT wants to do that, there's nothing that says we can't have more than one field trip in a month. So January is kind of a crappy month. I mean, to me, that's a great Sand Hill Crane month. And maybe, something indoor to go with that. But we'll see. I don't know at this point if that's going to be there, but that was on the list and about 13 people chose that.
Anybody want to go to McGee Marsh in Ohio? And that. For the water. I'm gonna do it. Organized or not.
All right, so this is basically what we've done this year. We changed things up a little bit and every other month we had a speaker, and when we didn't have a speaker, we did our photo challenge. So we had only 6 photo challenges this year instead of 11. So this month it's Georgia only. And then next month, it's going to be architecture. We doubled up on speakers at some point during the year. So Georgia only this month, architecture in November. The November meeting is going to be on Zoom only. I found that out when Travis sent me the slideshow. So we'll have more details on that. The guest judge is going to be Kevin Holiday. I don't know him, but Travis knows him, so I'm sure he will be good. And I've shot this building before.
Huh?
I've seen it online a lot. The Fancy Honey.
Yeah, was
Was that yours? Yeah. It was like we were driving home from St. Simon's and I saw it and we stopped. That's not my shot.
Yeah.
Mine's about 5 years old. We were driving home. I saw it on the right, turned around, went back to it. But Tom Wilson is going to be judging our photo challenge tonight. I don't have the slide with the rules, but I think pretty much everybody knows the rules. But mainly we award points. I'll talk about the points in a minute. Let's see what's next. All right, that's the end of the slideshow. Let me bring up where the pictures are.
Yeah.
All right.
Is it 1, 2, and 3 with given this number? It's based on the number.
Yeah, that's gonna be the top 5.
That's gonna be the top 5.
Yeah. All right, so where's share? I just saw the share button. Okay, so these are the points so far this year. So as you can see, it is very close and mathematically anybody could still win it. So we give points for the top 5, 5 points for first, 4 points for second, and so on. We add it up. At the end of the year, the person with the most points is our photographer of the year. They win $100 and free membership for next year. And each monthly winner gets a $15 Amazon gift card. But we also want to encourage you not to really worry, even though it's a competition. We don't want you to concentrate on the competition. We're mostly interested in getting feedback and critique on our images, whether you posted an image or not. We all learn. You're going to learn from the comments on your image. You're going to learn from comments on others people's images. And that is what we want to emphasize. And so with that, we can start the first image and bring Tom up here. Let's see where.
Let's see. I guess.
Oh, here we go.
Spider's web.
It might. How about that? Yeah, so I guess you can use, yeah, you can use the arrows or the mouse.
The arrows, okay. Arrow
Either
keys.
or.
Thanks, Mike.
I'm gonna sit down and shut up now.
Okay, and I may have to move, there's not is there a camera on me or anything? So it's okay. So as long as they can hear me, it's fine. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom Wilson, and I love to photograph Georgia so much that I give presentations on my favorite places to photograph in Georgia. So I was really excited that you guys asked me to do this. I actually got the photographs this week, and I actually put a bunch of them up on Photoshop, which is what I work in. I don't work in Lightroom. I'm a dinosaur. I work in Photoshop. And so and I did stuff with them. And let me tell you where I'm coming from on this. So first of all, I am completely formally untrained as a photographer. I came up through photography clubs. I was in Roswell Photo Society and did photo reviews. And so most of the ways that I learned about how to look at photographs, how to think about them, was by reading and by attending clubs and photo reviews and listening to the opinions of others. So that's kind of where I'm coming from. Most of the work that I do, I use for conservation-oriented purposes. So I do a lot of my work thinking about how can the Chattahoochee Riverkeeper use this? How can the Chattahoochee National Recreation Area use this? So that's kind of the bent that I have. And also, I'm a photographer. I'm not an art buyer. I'm not a photo editor and so forth. And the reason I say that is that that's kind of where I'm coming from when I look at a photograph. When I look at a photograph and I get it up in Photoshop, then I'm thinking, okay, what am I going to do with this now, right? Because if you see one of the pictures that I did, maybe I took it 20 years ago, and you see how I presented it 20 years ago when I was, competing or whatever in Roswell Photo Society, and you see how I present it today, it's different. I may change it every few years because I look at it and go, I'm going to change the contrast a little bit, or I'm going to warm it up a little bit, or so I'm constantly looking at photographs and thinking, how can I shoot this a little bit differently? So that's how I'm going to approach this when I look at these photographs. Oh, good. Yeah, thanks.
All right, somebody help me because I can never remember how to get rid of this bar.
Use the up next to the X. The other one.
This one.
So that's a full screen, that there. I think that should give you full screen.
Yep.
Or drop it down.
We've gotten rid of it before.
There it
There
goes.
it goes,
It
all
just
right.
went away. Okay.
That way we can see the full picture.
Yeah, cool. So if y'all know, can I step away from that?
Yeah.
Okay. If y'all know me, this is the kind of photograph that I love, right? Because this is, have you ever heard me talk about wide angle macro so in a normal landscape photograph, you've got foreground, middle ground, background. And you're shooting with typically a wide angle lens where you're trying to get the depth of field where you get everything sharp in the image, acceptably sharp in the image. So everything from your foreground to your middle ground and to your background. But this is the style that I like to photograph in a lot. It doesn't really have a foreground, middle ground, and background. What it's got is a subject, and it's shot wide enough where the background is sharp enough to kind of know what it is, but it's not sharp. And in fact, if it was sharp, it would actually compete with, so if you could look at this and you think about if all those trees were sharp, you wouldn't notice the details in that web at all. So this is one of the styles of photography that I really like to do. Now, so there's a few things about this. First of all, if you notice right here in the image, this is the area of brightest and highest contrast, really high contrast, really bright. Your eye goes straight to that, which is perfect because that's where the interest is in the web. Now, this is blown out a little bit around the sun. I don't care. That's not, to me, that's not a defect in this image at all. Because that's kind of goes hand in hand with it being soft focus in the background, which is really nice because it gives a light, a really nice background, so I can see all the detail on those little beads of water that are there in the foreground. Now, the only thing that oh, and the color contrast too. I really like the warm and cool tones. So the only thing about this image, though, that I'm not sure that I would do it presented exactly this way is up there in the corner. I think I know what the photographer was trying to do. What they were trying to do is show that it's a fence, and they weren't sure if just this part of it was enough to do that. Right, so we've got some lines, but the problem is your eyes tend to follow converging lines, right? Well, where are they following? They're following out of the picture. So, and I'd like this to be more of the star of the show. So one of the things that I might do is you don't have to go back and reshoot it at all. All you have to do is crop it a little differently. So I might crop it to where I might even lose that blue sky above completely. I'd keep everything over here. It still gives you, right? Oh yeah, you're cropping it with the piece of paper. It still gives you this line coming this way, but you don't really need leading lines to lead to here, right? Because that's where your eye went to begin with anyway.
It's competing.
It's leading lines leading away from.
You got the two trees coming
From
where
this-
the
That's right.
light is.
Trees are leading this way and
That
these
one's
are
leading away.
leading out of the way. But if you crop it differently, you let this be the star of the show a little bit better. At the same time, this is gorgeous. There's no question out of my mind why that photographer shot this picture. And this does add to it. I just don't think it needs that much. And so that's one of the changes that I might suggest to the photograph. It's really well executed. This should not be any sharper than it is. Not sure what the focal length of the lens was, but it's got really nice angle to it. You've got, you might have shot it a little bit closer and just have this, eat up more pixels on when you take it. It's a beautiful image, but I do think that cropping it and letting the web be a little bit more of the star of the show would be a good thing to do and might help. So congratulations to that person. It's a really nice image. I'm sorry. One of the things that I might do is over here, I might try to increase the contrast on the little tendrils of the web there against the fence post. And so that way you see that the web goes outside of that. That might be one of the things. But I do like you can see the blue in the fence rails. And what that is, I assume, is reflection of the blue sky from off the paint of those fence rails. And that really does well with warm, cool color contrast with kind of the center of, this area in here is really warm. And that's where it should be. And I congratulate the person in the exposure, because even though if this stuff in the foreground was not there, that would be too bright. That would be too hot. But with it as a background, I think it works. I think it works just fine. Okay, I'm pushing the button here, but it's not.
The right button's not advancing.
The arrow keys not. How about just enter? No.
Oh, it is because it's Travis's account. All right.
Oh, that did it. Just right. You just did yeah. Okay. So this is really, really cool. So what the photographer has done here is used compression very effectively, in my opinion. It really turns, and I think this is up around Buford Dam. Is where it looks like it is, but it could be a dam anywhere, I suppose. But with all that riprap, I think it's around a dam somewhere in Georgia. You know, I know my dam places. I'm sorry, that was bad. But anyhow, so this, so I really love that. And also the, you know, kind of the blue on the roads there a little bit. One of the things that I did with this image is I turned it black and white. And then after I turned it black and white, I really popped up the contrast a lot. And that was really cool. So I would really play with this image a lot in terms of that. One of the things that I might suggest for reshooting it was to get something on that road. Whether it's, you know, one of the things that I thought would be really cool was a pair of bikes, like riding right in here with a truck or school bus or something going across there. So you kind of got like, you know, this contrast of kind of the, you know, kind of the slow pace, riding around the curvy roads and hurry people going to work, you know, in a dump truck or a delivery van or whatever. That's just an idea. That's certainly beyond critiquing a photograph, but it's one of the ways that that you can liven up a photograph of a road or a trail is just putting a human element to it. It does several things. One of the things that it does is that it allows the person to empathize with that human that's in the photograph and then think of themselves as being on that bicycle or what have you in that particular scene. The exposures all look good. Person didn't try to include a lot of sky. I think they chose the proper aspect ratio. I checked it out. It's 3:5. I think I might even go a little more pano on the aspect ratio, but I think they had the right idea in making it a pano aspect ratio instead of a 2:3 35 millimeter aspect ratio. You know, I thought about that. I don't really take things out of photographs or add them to that, so I didn't include that in the critique. And so yeah. But it is what led me to think about, you know, the dump truck going that way out of the frame, and then the bicyclist, you know, coming around here into the frame kind of composition. Is that, you know, kind of this is the real world out here where people have to go to work and deliver loads of riprap and stuff like that. And this is the leisurely world of people on bicycles or whatever, you know, just kind of what is the narrative of or joggers or whatever it might be. So yes, I did think about the signs, but in my style of photography, I wouldn't take them out because I don't take things out of photographs unless I can either crop them out. Obviously I'll take dust specks out and stuff like that, but I typically won't do that. Now, that's not to make a judgment on people who do. It's just not the way that I do. Okay. I just did
Let's not do
something.
that.
I thought I was.
Let's see.
Oh, okay. Okay. Oh, this is really, yeah, what a great portrait of that red-shouldered hawk. I believe it's the red-shouldered hawk. What it looks like to me. Look at the detail in the eyes and everything. And one of the things that I really love about this is the proportion of the light from the lit side to the unlit side. This isn't just it's obviously shadowed, but it's almost like somebody had a fill card over here, you know, so that they could fill in those shadows a little bit. It's really good. I also love the green and the contrast of the color of the bird, and it almost looks like a halo there behind it. I kind of cropped it as a portrait, a 4x5 portrait format. I thought that looked cool as well. I love the blue sky and the eyes there. It's really really a very nice portrait. And you know, and I thought about all of these. I thought about the theme Georgia. Well, red-shouldered hawks are certainly in Georgia. So probably my top 5 are going to have a little bit of a bent towards how does it represent the theme a little bit. So, all right, let me get this right. But it's a nice shot. Okay. So this is a gorgeous shot of the Milky Way, shot probably on the Georgia coast, Atlantic coast in one of the golden, I'm not sure where it's shot. Maybe could be Cumberland Island, could be any of those locations. But here's what I would say. One of the things I love about Milky Way photographs is they tie the Earth to the sky. So I think it's important that this be lit down here. I think that really makes it. If this was just black blob down here, I don't think it would be as strong. The Milky Way looks really, really good. I really zoomed in on these, and you know, they're a little bit streaked, but unless you've got a tracker, you're not going to get round. You're not going to get round star images. You're going to get a little bit of streaking, and at a normal viewing distance, it's not obvious that they're heavily streaked. And this looks like cloudy area over here. I'm not sure what that is. The one thing that I wondered about, maybe working on a little bit, is right here. Can you all see that halo with me? So it looks like somebody, when they were opening up the shadows, the selection here was difficult. So it not only opened up this that they wanted to open up, but also opened up kind of this against the sky. Now, I've got it on my laptop. If the person's here, don't tell me who you are. But if the person's here, I can show you how I kind of brought that down, that halo down a little bit. It's just a matter of putting a couple of layers on there and then just kind of painting them in so that halo wasn't as obvious. But to me, that is enough of a distraction that it draws my eye to it instead of where you want my eyes. And I had a picture that I shot in on film in probably 2003. Ultimately, Trupp Hodnett ended up using it, and then it also went on the Nature Conservancy's website. But when I first did it, I had shot it, it was in morning, sunrise, and I had shot it with some, reeds like this popping up. And I had used a split neutral density filter. Are y'all familiar with a Stingray split neutral density filter? And I got a little bit of the track, kind of the footprint of that neutral density filter on the beach. And it kind of took me a while to figure out how to get rid of that footprint. So what I always try to do, and then the other thing that occurred was trying to get those individual reeds, to be bright enough where there was some detail to them, and they didn't look like halfway up. They didn't change from one tonality to another. And that can be kind of difficult to work that through in Photoshop. But I think it's important because they are things that people notice. So that's one of the things that I would suggest on that one, is kind of working on that halo a little bit, because you can see it. It's almost as bright as some of the areas of the Milky Way. However, that is very easily, I think, fixable so that you could turn this into an image you could print, I think. All right, trying to get this wrong. Okay, so this is really, so you have to think of what is a person using the picture for. So maybe they're using this picture for something where they want to show how these old groceries have been used and so forth. So it might have been important to get that American Beauty grocery store sign up there in the image. But if I were, so the star of the show right here is right here. All right, I want to get that door really needs to be in it. That old porch really needs to be in it. Maybe it might even be a 16:9 aspect ratio in there, but that is the star of the show. So the one recommendation that I would have for this shot, I like the focal length that was used. I think that it provides a good relationship between the car. You know, I don't think you want too much compression of the car against the building, maybe a little bit more than that. And of course, a telephoto lens, if you shoot it, is going to compress it a little bit more. And so maybe you would zoom that with your feet. You know, it's something that you probably would spend a good bit of time trying to figure out how to frame that and exactly what lens choice would produce the best image. But I would say that one, for a picture you were going to put up on your wall, they kind of gave a feeling of sort of old Georgia, you know, that's kind of, Ansel Adams, I believe, said that everything man makes ultimately kind of turns back to nature. And he had some photographs that he did of kind of some things that I think it was an old fort and kind of them turning back to where they looked like something from the natural world. And so, you know, a shot like that would give that feeling, then I think you would just want that area right there. And you really don't notice the power line or anything like that in the shot. So I wouldn't worry about that line that's going to the building. Actually, it kind of tells the story, part of the story as well. So I like that shot. I think I would crop it a little bit differently. I might even shoot it a little bit differently, but I don't know the purpose for which the photographer was shooting this. They may be shooting it to document old stores and how they're being used.
So for benefit of the people online, you're saying crop down and crop in.
Oh, you're right, because it doesn't really, they don't see that. Yeah. So for the benefit of the people online, I'm saying that you would probably crop down right about the where that tin roof starts. And then you would crop just to the right of the post that is just to the right of the door. Hopefully that will give. Thanks for that, Rick, because I wasn't even thinking about
The mouse,
Right,
the cursor.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, I sure can. Yep, okay. So I would do it. I'm not doing the cursor straight, but I would do it something like that and then like that. So right in there, that's the area that I think is the hero of that shot. Now, that being said, the person may have taken this because they're documenting old stores and what's happening to them and so forth. Okay. Love this guy right here. This is really great. And I love the tail. You know, that you've got the tail in the back of the shot. So the tail is actually framing the alligator, which is really cool. A couple of the things, and by the way, the eye seems really sharp to me, which is really important. The tail doesn't really have to be sharp. I know that's the alligator's tail. It doesn't really, you know, take and even back here, you know, it's important for me to get that sharp. And then this is not that sharp. I think that's fine. I think that it lends to the photograph. One of the things that I might have done differently when I was shooting this is and I think, by the way, the camera position is at about the right height. Because if you go lower, I think you might go a little lower in terms of camera position, but I think the way this arches over the head is nice. So I think the camera position is good there. But I think I would have tried to use a polarizer to get rid of some of the glare that's on this critter. I know a lot of people don't have for their telephoto lenses, and I hope that was shot with a long telephoto lens. But I know, so I, for example, for my 500 F4, I have a drop-in polarizer that I can then rotate the top. And get a little bit of polarization on that. And I do think it's important to have a polarizer for your long lenses, especially if you're going to be shooting a lot of crocodilians. So now, when I put this in Photoshop, though, I was able to bring down those highlights pretty well, and then also raised up just a little bit, opened up the shadows there, which is something that I would suggest. Then the other thing that I would suggest, and I'll show everybody the crop line with the cursor, is, and I think you might even go, of course, I like the 9:16 aspect ratio, so you probably have already heard that from me a lot, but I'm not sure we need this top up here, right? Because down here, this is what we want to see. And I think that this is enough of the top to frame the alligator down here. So I kind of cropped it down here at the bottom and then kind of up here at the top. But it's really well shot. I think that those might be ways that you might consider if you're going to print it. But it also works like that. I think this is one of the ones that I can't. Right. This is number 7. So this is one of those evenings that all of us hope for. You know, the warm, cool color contrast is really beautiful. There is a lot of dark over here. So one of the things that I always try to do with judging a silhouette or an area that's going to go dark is, so areas like this that have a lot of what I call kind of filigree to them, you know, interest to them, shape, texture, and so forth, that are a silhouette, those really work well in a silhouette. But big areas of black don't work as well, in my opinion. So to me, there's a little bit too much in the corner here. I do like the fact that we see the curve of the lake in that, so I think it lends to that. So I would come a little bit more this way and get rid of some of that big area of black over there to the right. The other thing that I did was I just brightened it up a little bit so that I get more of that sky a little bit brighter. It wasn't much, it was just a few points.
11 by 14 would fit.
I'm sorry?
11 by 14 would fit.
Would probably do it. It's a really beautiful evening. I like the rocks in there. Probably would have shot that a bunch of ways. If I had been there that night, I would have probably run out of light and run out of time trying different compositions and so forth. But the one recommendation that I would make to the author of this photograph is a little bit less over there in the lower right-hand corner, because that's a lot of area of dark. I would have spent hours trying to figure out how to shoot this, because this is so cool, and this is the kind of thing that I love. You know, there's water, the whole creek coming through that log. Let me mention a few things. Saturation is spot on perfect. I was thinking, who here used to shoot Velvia film? Rick, did you shoot Velvia film back in the film days? This looks a lot like Velvia green. It's gorgeous.
It was that vivid?
Yeah.
It was that vivid?
Yeah, it was. But now on my computer at home, it was not as vivid as this when I
It
was.
might be somewhat that screen.
Yeah. So, and because I don't think it's as vivid. No, it's not as vivid here as it is on that screen. But you know, so and you can see it's even in the water there in the you know, the highlights of the water. So it's really, really cool. So the big thing is when you've got a subject, separating the subject. So all of us who shoot, anybody here shoot birds? Yeah. So you know, when you shoot the bird, one of the things you're trying to do is separate it from the background so that it kind of pops out. And so the real challenge here would be separating that from the background. Some of the things that I kind of looked at doing is I did a perspective control where I brought out the bottom a little bit, that kind of emulated lowering the camera position a little bit. I'm not sure that really helps a lot. You know, I might have moved around and shot it from this way and then broken the rules and put that right in the center where the log is coming down this way. And then you've got a vanishing point that the log is helping to point to where the creek comes down. And then you got the splash of water down here using a wide angle lens up here. That might be one way to shoot it. But I swear to you, I would have run out of daylight trying to photograph this and figure out how to make this the hero of the shot.
I don't think it runs right through the log. I think it's positioned so it looks like it's going.
Oh, it's right through the log. Yeah, it's going right through the log. See, look, it's coming out here,
Oh, yeah.
which is why that part of it is so important. It's coming out right there. And it's more, you can see it coming out through the little pieces right here. So it would really be, the thing that would be so hard about this shot is that if you get it right, it's going to be a stunner. But it's how do I do it? And you probably spend hours figuring out how to do it. I have not figured out how to do it. One of the things though that I did think about was changing the aspect ratio a little bit and making the narrower, more pano aspect ratio kind of emphasizing the log and the length of the log. But you really need these rocks down at the end because these rocks are really, really nice where that's coming out. So you don't want to lose that. And I debated whether or not the little waterfall up there at the top, but I think it's important. I think that waterfall up at the top is important. So this is really a difficult shot to do. I think they've done a pretty good job of it. I don't know if you could do it better or not.
If
But-
you had like, it looks like it's got a polarizer. on it.
Yeah, oh yeah,
So you
absolutely.
see
I
where
can't
the-
imagine this is not shot with there's a little bit of glare here, but I think it's in a little here, but it looks like it's been brought down with
But
a
if you had a
polarizer. Yeah,
circular one, you turned it a little bit, you would get a little bit more
yeah,
fuzziness in the water there, you know, it wouldn't look so clear.
yeah. And there's really nice light here. It looks like it's an overcast day, which is gonna let you have the longer exposure, et cetera. There's no high contrast highlights or anything like that that would tell me it would. I mean, you can kind of emulate that with a neutral density filter that's a bunch of stops and so forth, but not really, because you're still gonna have the highlights and things. But the person has done a really, really nice job with this. And I don't know how to recommend that it would be shot differently. Other than to say, one of my first instincts would be to walk here to the end of it and get really a wide angle lens, like a 12 or something, and kind of you've got to have a camera position a little bit above it. So that because you want to get this, you can't miss this. And then you would want to get kind of that log sort of flaring out like this so that the log is going back to a vanishing point that then runs into the creek. But I would have spent literally all day. Whoever shot this, they'd be with me going, Tom, we got to go now. It's getting dark. But I like the shot.
Hey, Tom, I shot that
I thought you did.
and I did use a polarizer. And I do have several other shots.
Yeah, yeah.
And I had a hard time
How
deciding.
long did you play with this? I would have been.
I don't play with it as long as I wanted to because my granddaughter was with me.
Yeah.
She was kind of,
Yeah, I would have been hours on this.
yeah,
This is
that's something that you just don't see.
so,
I've never seen something like that.
yeah, so if there was,
My granddaughter noticed it.
oh, did
Yeah,
you?
we were hiking by and she said, "Oh,
So if you were trying to catch a photographer, like create a photographer trap, this would be your bait.
yeah. that's right."
Right? Who in this room, raise your hand.
And if you were with him, he would have passed his granddaughter off for you to entertain her while.
Oh, no, I'd have said, that's your granddaughter. It's really nicely done. I don't know, you know, the thing that I think probably bothers me too, is this log back here
Yeah.
and separating that log from it. And so it's just a matter of how do I separate this, but then also include all of that? And and you know what I thought of when I was thinking of this is a chess problem. Anybody here ever play chess problems on a chessboard? This to me is like a chess problem for photographers. So this is really well done. This is really, really well done. I even zoomed way in on this, and there's people, let's see what building, there's actually some people you can see inside of the windows there. Yeah, there's some, yeah, it's good. Now, some of the things that I really like about it that really kind of make the shot, is the stop down aperture gives you those nice diffraction spikes. That really, you know, just they're just an extra little bit of seasoning for the photograph. I really like the colors of the tail lights there. So there's a little bit of the white balance that really they did very well. And the different white balance for these lights here. So I think this may have been shot a while ago, unless they're still using those sodium vapor lamps there, but maybe they still are. So I really like that. The last time I was there, and I won't go back because I've known too many people that have had their gear. I even know of some that had their gear stolen at gunpoint.
Oh, boy.
They're at the Jacksons,
Not surprised.
at the Jackson Street.
That's Jackson.
Yeah, that's Jackson Street. I didn't get nearly this level of traffic, so they really, really lucked out on that. And this light coming up here in the middle is really cool. The bar there from
I
the,
wasn't there when I last was there. That's.
yeah, I think that must be pretty new, but I haven't been there in years. I think my shot of this place is on film, so that means that my shot of this place is before 2005.
Mine was after dinosaurs, but.
Thanks, Chris. But this is really nicely done. The other thing is, this is also would make a really, really nice print. And it is one of the best thematic, because this is Georgia, right? The theme is Georgia. So this really, really hits that theme. And so I just really like this a lot. There is one significant problem with this picture, though. It doesn't say Tom Wilson. No, it's really nice. Oh, one other thing, I would have a recommendation for the person who shot this and is going to print it. I would consider printing it on metal. I would absolutely consider printing that on metal. Or acrylic, yes. Yeah, it really needs something that is the equivalent of a Cibachrome print. Sorry, I'm showing my age again. So,
Did it on purpose.
yes. So this breaks a rule, and it was the right time to break the rule. Yeah, so we're in the center of the shot where most of the interest is, right? But why do people say don't put the center of interest in the center of the photograph? Well, because it's peaceful, and well, that's what this picture is all about. Is sort of peaceful, and so you've got a horizon that's about in the middle of the photo. You've got the sun in the middle of the photo. Nice diffraction spikes. Really nice rim lighting here on the couple. There's a little bit of noise in here that you probably could calm down a little bit with something like topaz denoise or something, but there's some noise going on in there in the dark. One of the things that I did was I actually opened up the top here a little bit and gave a little bit more brightness to the sky. But I think that in this area right here, the brightness is about right. Because you don't need detail in here. You just need you know, the little glints of the sunlight off of the grasses and stuff like that. It doesn't need a lot of detail. So that's really, really a nice, nice shot and easily recognizable as North Georgia. Or, you know, in the Blue Ridge. It's obviously not in
Manhattan.
yeah, or Western,
Downtown Atlanta.
yeah. So, we all know where this is. This is Gibbs Gardens. And let's see, because a lot of these look different when I look at them on the screen than they looked at, either on that computer or at home. So I like I said I like the centered composition on the other one. I like the off-centered composition on this one. The only thing that on my computer and on Photoshop, this area was a little bit darker than it is here. And so,
The left side.
yes, the left side was a little bit darker than the right side. So one of the things that I recommend and recommended here was bringing down the highlights a little bit hot on the roof there and a little bit hot in some of these areas, but easily controllable in Photoshop, easily brought down. And the shadows a little bit on the left opened up. And I think it makes it a lot, right now it's kind of this is kind of the picture. And this is kind of extraneous. I think if you do those two things, kind of bring down the highlights and bring up the shadows over on the left. Highlights on the right, shadows on the left. I think it makes it into one picture a little bit more. So and you can see my approach. What I'm doing is I'm saying what I would do if I had shot this picture, opened it up in Photoshop and started thinking about what am I going to do to optimize this picture? That's how I kind of approach this whole thing. So what you're getting is Tom's opinion, which like everybody, I won't say the middle part of that, but everybody has them. But anyhow, that's what I would think about.
That's where you could use the gradient.
Yeah, you could use it as
One side, dark at the other side.
you could use the gradient tool to do that. But you really, what I do oftentimes is I'll just put a layer on top. And then I'll just do a what do you call it?
Fuzzy.
Camera raw ACR filter. So I do a Adobe Camera Raw filter. So it's like, or I just do it in Adobe Camera Raw. So when I open it up and it's going through the raw converter to put it into Photoshop, oftentimes I'll do it then. So I'll make the adjustment then and bring up the highlights and bring the shadow down. But if you don't do it there, once you get it into Photoshop, then you can do a layer and then you can do it on that layer.
And for Lightroom users, that's what Adobe Camera Raw is. It's the same thing, just sideways.
ACR.
Yeah, it's the same thing as Lightroom.
Yeah.
Just sideways.
Okay. So I think there's another photo. Yeah. So really like this. I've been to this covered bridge. And so one of the things that I really admire about this photograph is, does everybody know this photo with this location? So, you know, it's right next to the highway and it doesn't seem as remote as this picture makes it feel at all. You know, where you're standing there and there's cars zooming past you, right behind you. So they've done a really nice job of making it feel like it's in the middle of nowhere, where it actually is not in the middle of nowhere. And then the other thing that they've done is they've used some, I think that's intentional vignetting. That's going on over there to kind of, and then there's been some kind of changing of the contrast. One of the things that they've done up top is they kind of have this sort of heavenly light, you know, the sun's coming in and kind of this wash of light behind the trees, which is one approach. And I kind of like that. And I think it works here. One of the things that I might think about trying, but you may not have been able to do it because if there's any kind of clouds in front of the sun, you wouldn't be able to do it. But one of the things I would have at least thought about is, can I lay the sun into some of that foliage in there where just a little bit of the photosphere is peeking out and then stop down to F16 F-20, usually F-16's enough to give you a nice sun star. So that you get this, but you also get a sun star there. That's just a thought. That's not a critique of the photograph. It's just one thing that might be a little bit of added seasoning that you might be able to put in there. But the other thing that it tells me is if I lived near that photo location, I would probably be thinking about, and I don't know this, but is that a morning rising sun? Y'all probably know. I think that's a morning rising sun, because if I remember the orientation there, that's going to be to the east. And one of the things that I might think about doing is trying to go back to that photo location and getting some rays in there, some God beams in there, because if you had some nice morning fog, you might be able to get some nice rays coming through those trees. Just a thought. It's just something that, well, no. No. Yeah, you could. But I'd rather, go back and try to shoot. A friend of mine told me a bunch of years ago, Tom, if you only shoot one photo, that'll be your best one. And I'm always of the orientation with, oh, I like that, but I'm going to go back to the scene and see if I can get it like this. And if anybody's ever seen the image that I did of the Roswell Mill waterfall, anybody been to shoot the Roswell Mill waterfall? One of the things that I kept trying to get and finally got it one time, and I know that I probably won't be able to share this with folks there, but let's see if I can. If it comes.
Come to the meetings.
So that website is called Hidden Gems USA.
Uh-huh.
And they have pictures of like waterfall road trips, like through North Georgia. And they do specific ones for people that are mobility challenged. Say, here's all these ones we've got.
So
set up.
y'all can pass that around if you want, but I went back because I wanted that.
Yeah.
So it was just one of those things where I had some nice shots there, but I thought, boy, wouldn't it be nice to get a sun star in there? Wouldn't it be nice to get some fog in there or what have you? So I think this is a really good start and a good photograph. But I bet there's more that could be done with that one as well, because but the person needs huge accolades just for making this feel like it's in a remote location. And it's a pretty shot.
That's a very well traveled road.
No, it doesn't at all. Well, no, the road here is I think that ends right there, right? It's not, yeah, it's not a, yeah. Yes, the road's closed. You can't go across there. But there's a highway right behind you. I mean, if I'm standing here with my tripod set up, I better not step back too far.
About 3 feet. About
Yeah.
3 feet, yeah.
Yeah. So
Where is this?
it's over near
Yeah.
yeah.
Sorry, Blue Ridge.
Yeah.
It's the.
So it's not
Stovall
far from
Mill-
Helen.
Stovall
Oh,
Mill-
somebody said something here.
Stovall Mill Covered Bridge. It's in Saudi, Nikuchi.
So it's really a beautiful shot. Okay, so I think now I need to pick.
Now you have to-
So if we can do an intermission, I will.
Yeah.
If
Do you have notes or do you need to see the thumbnails or?
I'm gonna, let me borrow your pad there and I'm gonna,
Okay,
so which are the ones that I can't,
5 and 7.
5 and 7, okay? Give me a few minutes here to go through.
Think. Yeah, they have the numbers up there.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, you like old cars?
How do you know?
Because you said so.
See old cars and car shows all the time.
I walked out, I did one where I walked out of Michael's and put a car show there myself. The only problem with that is I like to do the grills, do the fronts of the cars, and everybody has their hoods up.
Yeah. Car show's the worst place to put that on.
Oh, is it?
But I had a Rolls Royce that I took a picture of where I had the hood was down and everything like that, but I got the grill. But it had, instead of the fly radio, it had a dragon. It's fun. I'm looking, at the multiple pictures from the front, and I'm looking for, try and wait till the new, LEDs come out. Because they're reintroducing them in 2006.
5 and 7, right?
You ever done?
Okay.
The old kudzu church, you behind Kate? Yeah, it's the old black church, African American church. You turn Kate House and go maybe a quarter of a mile, and it's up on the hill by the railroad track. And it's almost, it's gonna be falling down within another couple of years.
I've driven up that way, that never stopped over there.
That's the road that goes to 4 Mile Church or whatever.
Is that the name of the church?
No.
So I picked
can't
5?
remember the
Yeah.
name of the church. Battery,
I went to Boston, but we didn't go over there, not that much.
Yeah, right there, you know, there.
Yeah.
First place I ever saw Eagle.
I was looking for that.
Yeah,
Here,
I wasn't, but it showed up.
Yeah, go.
you got about 53 or so, you go up there and they have it's right by that Methodist church. The one that's up on the hill.
Okay.
Um,
We actually
That one there?
when we were on a field trip. We had people.
Yeah.
That took a lot of processing.
Okay.
Finding the whole bar and that, we all agree the problem is no storage, there was nothing to pull over.
So if it's okay with you, I'll call out the picture and then we'll do a tag team and you'll do the
Okay.
name of the photographer, because I don't know any of the names of the photographer.
All right, plus I need to mark them so that I can.
And,
On the
and
website.
that will allow me, so I'm gonna start with
Fifth
number
place, yeah.
5. So 5th place is 06.
Since that is Fred Bergman.
Fred, that's a really nice shot of a gator. Yeah, the eyes are really, really sharp. Really nice job framing. Is Fred here or is he?
Yeah,
Yep, I'm online.
Oh,
I appreciate
Fred,
it.
that's a nice job. That's a really nice job. It's a good shot.
Thanks. I
And
like your ideas about cropping too. I'm gonna try that.
yeah, I think it makes a little bit stronger, and it just brings the hero into the shot. But two of the things I really like, one is the sharpness in the face, and frankly, the fact that it gets softer as you go back, because you don't need that to be sharp. And then the other thing that I like about it is I like the arch of the tail over the head that kind of frames that. So that's a really nice shot.
Thank you.
Okay, number 4 is gotta go this way. Number 12.
Philip.
Oh, nice job. Really nice job. I don't know if that's I would go back and back and back to that place. Yeah, there's and what you've done here, by the way, I compared my shots of this covered bridge. They're better than mine. You have better light. You've isolated it more, made it feel like it's, in the middle of nowhere. My shots don't do that. And it's not easy to do that. And I think there's a bollard somewhere that you've taken out. I don't mind other people. I don't do it, but I don't mind other people doing it. It's what you want to do. It's what people want to do. Okay. And if, third place. Oh, went too far.
Let's go with
I'm always going too far.
just one this way.
Yeah, but I clicked the wrong thing. Give me a second. There we go.
The arrow keys aren't working?
Here, click. Okay, now you should be able to bring it over. There you go.
Okay. There we go. So, third place goes to
Jason Blaylock.
Jason Blake. Jason, I should have known. Are you on here, Jason? He's not on here.
He's very shy.
I have judged so many. I love Jason's work. Jason's work is so good. I should have recognized that as a Jason Blaylock. Okay. The second place. It did it again. I mean, I'm putting the cursor right on the arrow there.
What number?
Go all the way to
10.
Mhm.
Number 10. That one.
Yes.
Richard Clark.
Okay, Richard, really, really nice shot. It looks better on the screen than it does on the laptop here. So if y'all are viewing this,
It's much darker on the laptop.
yeah, if y'all are viewing this at home on Zoom, it might appear darker, but it's not that dark. It's a lot more detail in it than what you're probably seeing there.
Probably gonna take them out, they don't look as good.
And then in first place, oh, went too far.
Keep you in suspense a little bit longer.
Number nine.
And that is Patrick Olmstead.
Pat-
The last one.
oh, did he really? Patrick are you there?
I'm online.
Oh, that's really nice, Patrick. One of the things that I did with it, and you know, you can take this or not, but one of the things I did with it was I did 2 layers on it. And the first layer that I did was I brightened up the top part of the image a little bit and brightened the highlights a tad, made them and increased the contrast a little bit in the top. And then what I did was a second layer where I went down to the roads that are approaching, and I did a layer where I did an Adobe Camera Raw filter on it, and all I did was added a little bit of contrast there. So it darkened the road a little bit and brightened the lights. I mean, these were tiny, tiny little adjustments, but I think you might consider those before you print it. But and if you print it, I would definitely print it on metal or acrylic.
Hey, thank you.
I'm just thoughts. So yeah, thank you guys for inviting me to do this. I hope it was helpful to everybody. That to me, I learned from ideas from other photographers. You can do everything that, you know, and they're my opinions and they're worth about as much as anybody else's opinions. But hopefully they'll help you think through what you're going to do to a photograph when you make it. And then when you know, Ansel Adams famously said that the negative is like the artist, the composer's score. And then the print is like the performance, and both of those are combined together to make the whole photography process. So it's really important to think about all the way through, how might I take the picture differently? How might I optimize it differently at the end of it? So my thoughts hopefully will be helpful in that.
Thank you, Tom.
Sure.
And I know I learned about from my picture, and I learned from other people's pictures too. And so This is why we do this critique. So congratulations, Patrick, and to everybody else. And we will see you next month. We'll have a photo challenge again next month and a critique. The theme is architecture, and it's going to be on Zoom only. And do we have any questions? I don't think we have any questions. So we'll all head home. Everybody have a good night, and we'll see you next month.
Bye.
Thank you.